Hi, I'm Julia Taylor, and I am here to teach a Yin Yoga class for you with minimal props. All you need is a blanket. If you have your own yoga blanket at home, that's the perfect size, but if you don't, you can work with something like this, or a couple of folded bath towels work. So we're not going to use it right away unless you just need something behind your head. Now, I'm not using a mat, but you can certainly use one if you need to. We're going to come down onto our backs, and we're just going to start by maybe closing the eyes. And if you aren't comfortable with eyes closed, then just let your eyes become more still and more focused, so you're not looking around. Just starting to turn inwards a little bit. So you may have been experiencing some increased anxiety or nerves lately. So we can acknowledge that, but also try to give yourself permission to take this time and be without that for a little while. So let's just start to pay attention to your breath now. Just kind of feeling the breath move in your body. Notice where you feel it around the collarbones, rib cage, belly, wherever you feel it, neck even sometimes. And we'll just try to kind of deepen that. So if you're mostly feeling it kind of around the collarbones and the neck area, then we're going to try to take it down into the ribs. So just a little deeper breath in. And let your exhalation be kind of a release. Deep breath in and release. Continuing that for just a few more breaths. So finding kind of a quality of expansion with your inhalation and that release or softening with your exhalation. So literally and physically, you are taking in what you need with your inhale, letting out what you don't need with your exhale. And you can think about that in kind of a non-literal way too. Maybe inhaling calm, exhaling stress, or whatever it is for you. All right, we're just going to keep breathing comfortably during class. I'll remind you occasionally. We're going to bring the knees in towards the chest and just kind of gently rock yourself side to side. I'm going to do some circles because that feels good to me, and you can do that as well. This is very much a class where you get to make decisions. All right, we're going to come into happy baby next. So we're going to kind of widen the knees, bring them in towards the armpits. You'll reach up and hold on to your feet. It can be outer or inner edges. If you can't reach that, then hold on to your ankles or even to the backs of your knees. Let's just kind of rock that side to side. Not real big, just kind of sort of an intuitive, soothing thing. And then we'll get a little more still. Really put your tailbone down on the floor so you start to feel that stretch in the hips a little more. Still breathing. We're going to let go of the feet. Take the feet down to the floor, kind of wide apart. So I've got mine a little wider than hip distance. I'm going to open my arms out to the side, or some people like to do kind of a goalpost shape for this one, either one. So you're just going to start letting your knees go back and forth now, kind of a windshield wiper motion. And just as a reminder to breathe, I like an inhale in one side and exhale to the other side. The next time that you let your knees drop to the right, we're going to stay here. And the head can just look up, or you can turn the head in the opposite direction, your choice. If you need a blanket under either knee or thigh, you can do that. Find to close the eyes here. Again, we're going to be here a little bit of time. Taking a break whenever you need to. That's about 1 minute in the pose. We're going to stay a little longer if you're feeling comfortable. If not, just back to the center, take a break. If you feel like you need a little more stretch, you can take that bottom foot, hook it onto the top, so that's the right foot on the left thigh. It's only if you feel you need more stretch than you're getting. Maybe about 4 to 5 more breaths. Let that foot come back down. Take an inhale, exhale, and bring the knees back towards the ceiling, feet on the mat. You can just pause there. You can be still if you feel like you need to move around a little bit or hug your knees in towards your chest, something like that. You can do that. I just kind of like to be right in the center of myself. A few more breaths to move around if you need to. Kind of let the legs start going back and forth again. And this time we'll go to the left and stay. So again, kind of adjust your feet if you need to, if you don't feel like you're quite in the right spot. Use the blanket if you need to. And then just relax and breathe. So that's about 1 minute for this side. So same thing, stay here if you're feeling okay, take a break if you need to, or you can take left foot up onto the right thigh. If you add on and you feel like you can't breathe anymore, then that's a good signal to take the foot back to the floor. Last few breaths for this side. Letting that foot come back to the floor if you did add it. Take an inhale and exhale to bring the knees center, feet flat. And same thing, just take a moment here, move around a little bit if you need to, knees to chest, stretch the legs out, whatever you want to do. Just take a little bit of time there. All right. And I've designed our leg sequence today without using a strap in case you don't have one at home. If you do have one, you can definitely use it. It's great. If not, we're just going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. You're going to hold on to the back of the leg. You're going to stretch the left leg out really as long as you can and kind of reach through the heel. Pull the right knee in, reach with the left foot. And just back that right knee up a little bit so it's a little closer to in line with your hip. We're going to take an inhale to extend the leg up and exhale to bend it in. Not being too forceful here. We're kind of just exploring, testing the waters for the hamstrings, noticing how they're feeling today. Up. Exhale, bend. One more up. Exhale, bend. This time we're going to go inhale up. Exhale, flex the foot. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Flex and point. Inhale. Exhale, flex. We're going to stay here for about 3 breaths. Good. We're going to bend the knee in. Hold the knee with your left hand. Reach your right arm out to the side. We're just going to kind of roll over and guide your knee across. You can keep the knee bent if you want, or you can have the left elbow, my left elbow's down on the floor. My left hand is going to hold my knee, and I'm just going to reach the leg out from there. And if that's too intense, then you go back to the bent knee. You can even bend and straighten. About 3 breaths. Good. Bend the knee again. Inhale. Exhale, come back to the center, and we're going to switch hands. So we're going to bring the knee out to the side a little bit. And same thing, I'm kind of using my arm as a kickstand and then stretching the leg out. Now, if you have the strap, you can have the strap on your foot and you're just holding. Reaching through the heel a little bit. Good. Bend the knee, inhale. Exhale back to the center. Switch legs. Hug the left knee in, stretch the right leg out. Stretch that right leg as far as it'll go, kind of reaching through the heel. And at the same time, pull the left knee in as much as you can. So there's a little bit of an oppositional stretch there. And we'll just back the leg up a little bit. Hold on to the back of the thigh. Inhale to stretch the leg up. And exhale, bend it in. And inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, bend. And remember, if it doesn't want to go straight right away, don't force it. Give it some time. Let's do 2 more bend and straightens. Reach it up, inhale. Exhale, flex the foot. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. One more point, inhale. Exhale, flex. And for 3, hold, relax through the shoulders. Now, if you need to have your knee a little bit bent is okay. Knee's going to bend in again. I'm taking the right hand to the knee, the left hand out to the side. I'm going to just cross over. And again, kind of that kickstand idea, elbow down on the floor, knee resting in the hand. You could just stay there, or you could reach that leg out. You guys get to look at the bottom of my foot. Bending the knee in again and rolling back to the center. Left hand's going to take the knee, right arm out to the side. Knee's going to go out to the side, elbow to the floor, and then extend the leg. Use your arm to support the leg. A little bit of a reach through both feet. And bending the knee, inhale. Exhale, come on back to the center and 2 feet to the floor. And I just like to have 2 feet on the floor, knees bent for a moment after that. You could do something like feet together, knees out to the side, or happy baby again if that's what you want to do. Take just a moment or 2. There's no rush, but when you're ready, we're going to come up and onto hands and knees. And here's where you may want your blanket, may not need it. We're just going to go into a tabletop position. And we're just going to start a little bit of shifting of the weight forward and back. So I'm going to take my weight back towards my heels a little bit, and then I'm going to bring it back over my hands, not really going past my hands, just kind of inhale, exhale back. Now I'm going to add a little movement to this, a little bit of cat-cow. So I'm going to inhale to shift forward. I'm going to exhale, round back. Inhale, I'm gliding forward and I'm coming into my cow. Exhale, rounding back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale. And exhale. I'm going to come back to the center. I'm just going to firm my abdominals a little bit. So rather than letting things be really relaxed for right now, I'm going to just increase the muscular effort a little bit. Step the right foot forward. The left knee is going to stay on the mat. Hands on the front thigh. If you need to, you can use blocks or books or something to put your hands on. This is it. Dragon lunge or low lunge. We're just hanging out here for some time. It is a little bit more challenging than what we've done so far, so remember to keep breathing. Notice that my hip right now is a little bit in front of my knee, so I've got a little bit of a diagonal line going, although not a huge one. I'm just going to back up a little bit, so I'm bringing my hip more in line with my knee, and I'm going to back my front foot up a little bit too. I'm going to drop my tailbone down a little bit. I'm going to lift this hip up a little bit and just feel the change in the stretch. So it's just a slightly different position, slightly different stretch for a few more breaths. And I'm going to take my hands down to the floor. I'm going to curl the back toes under, and I'm going to step forward into kind of a ragdoll position. So knees bent, back rounded, head hangs. Just kind of take it back and forth. If you do a lot of yin, you know there's some other options, and you're certainly welcome to do one of those instead. Take the hands to the floor. Step back. Step back. Take an inhale here and exhale just to center. And then taking an inhale, exhale, left foot stepping forward. Again, I want that back knee a little bit behind the hip. Hands can just go on the front thigh. And again, just a reminder to breathe. And you don't have to be super still and tense in the upper body. You want the lower body to remain still so it stays in the stretch. But if you need to turn the head, shrug the shoulders, you can do any of those things. And then again, I'm just going to kind of back up a little bit so that my hip is over my back knee. I might have to back this foot up as well. And then kind of the key to this is tailbone down, hip bone up, maybe even a little squeeze on that side. You can release the hands down, hands in prayer. Anything you want to do is fine with the hands if you feel comfortable with your balance. About 3 more breaths. Kind of going more by breath than by clock today. Good. I'm going to bring the fingertips down. Bring my knee back. And I'm going to go to a downward dog this time. Now you could do ragdoll again, or you could do whatever else feels good to you. I'm going to bring my knees back down. And then we're going next on to our stomachs. So if you need anything under your head, a towel or anything, get that. And then just as you're ready, go ahead and lie all the way down on your stomach. And maybe head on the hands. I'm going to keep my head up so that you can hear me. But you could do head on the hands, one cheek turned to the side, arms back, whatever is comfortable for you. Just take a few cycles of breath into your back. It feels different here. So breathing into the back, feel the ribs expand, even the lengthening of your spine towards the tailbone. And then there's an exhale and there's a natural release or rebound. Inhale, create some more space within your back. And exhale. One more time, inhaling. And exhale. All right. We're going to do a little multitasking here. This is a foot stretch, a little bit of a hip flexor stretch, and it also preps us for where we're going next. So again, your head can still be down on your hands on the mat, whatever you want to do. You're going to curl the toes of your right foot underneath you. Your other foot's just relaxed. So I'm kind of standing on the ball of my foot now. And I'm going to push through that heel. Push, push, push. And then I'm going to push the toes away from me. I'm going to make that leg as long as I can. And I'm going to put the foot down on the mat. Same thing, other side. Curl the toes until you're kind of standing on, like almost in a plank, really, on that other leg. You'll feel the hip lift off the mat a little bit. Reach, reach. Now reaching with the toes, get long and lower down. Let's do it another time, just now that you know what you're doing. Toes curl under, stand on the foot, push through the heel, push through the toes, lengthen and lower. Other leg, last time, curl, stand, press, push away, reach, and lower. So you've kind of created a little bit of feeling of length in your legs too. Now you're going to pull your belly in a little bit and you're going to come up onto your forearms like I am here with elbows underneath the shoulders. You can go hands down or you can do kind of a karate chop hand. Whatever you want to do is fine. You can go a little forward if you need to. This is Sphinx. You've got to bring the belly with you into this one a little bit, so it may not feel like a lot of stretch. It's a stretch for the front. Your back's working, but you also have to bring the abdominals a little bit, so that's working too. Let your eyes just look down towards the floor in between your arms without totally dropping the head down. Just look down with the eyes. And then just take a little look towards your right arm. And then a little look towards your left arm. And again. Bring it back to the center. Maybe lift the chest a little more. And look past your fingertips. So not up, you'll still be looking at the floor or your mat. We're gonna widen the elbows and come forward and down to rest again. So just resting in whatever's comfortable for you. Take a couple of breaths. We're gonna do another back bend, and you can either choose to do Sphinx again for about a minute-ish, or you can do seal, so you can kind of see what feels right to your body today. So we'll start the same way. Toes reach back, tail reaches back, belly pulls in, come onto your forearms. That's Sphinx, and you can stay there. Or you can curl the chest up a little bit. Definitely bring the belly with you. Adjust the hands as you need to. So just your hands are on the floor now. You want to watch that you don't come into this position with your shoulders up by your ears. You want a nice long neck. Even able to turn it a little bit. If you're feeling your low back in an uncomfortable way, my first suggestion is make sure that belly's really pulling in. If you are doing that and you still feel the back, then I would come back to this one. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Wide elbows, pull your chest forward. Go ahead and relax down. Bend your knees and just kind of let your feet wave in the air and let those knees go side to side a little bit, or feet go side to side. Again, kind of a reverse windshield wiper. And then as you are ready, we're going to child's pose. I like a blanket under my knees for this one. You don't have to have one. You're gonna take your big toes together, knees wide apart, sit towards your heels and reach forward. So this is kind of your classic version. There are a lot of variations. If you need to not be so far back in flexion on your knees, then just bring yourself a little forward and come to the forearms. That's a 90-degree child's pose. And if you cannot be on your knees at all, then turn onto your back and do happy baby again, the one we started with. Couple more breaths. Walking the hands in towards you, coming on up, and we'll just take a seat, and you can sit however is comfortable for you. So legs don't really matter too much. You can sit cross-legged or with your legs out, whatever feels good to you. And you can sit on the blanket if you want to. Fingertips are going down to the floor. And we're just gonna let the right ear tip towards the right shoulder a little bit. And again, kind of like the hamstrings. Don't force it real far. Just kind of tip and see what happens. So I get some stretch over here on the left side of my neck, kind of in the SCM, down to the collarbone, out to the shoulder. I'm going to kind of think of widening my collarbone a little bit to increase that. And then if I want any more stretch, I'm not going to try to take my head further, but instead I'll kind of walk my fingers out until they float off of the floor. And I'm making kind of a jazz hand, palm towards the floor. And then we're just going to turn the palm to face front, your thumb up like you're hitchhiking. And then palm turns down, thumb down. And you can keep this position and then take the hand behind your back. If that's not workable for you, the hand can rest in your lap. So the head is still a little bit tipped to the right. You're going to let your eyes look down towards your knee or thigh or whatever is in your visual. And again, kind of if I twist it a little bit, I'm just going to untwist. I'm going to pull this collarbone wide on the left side. I'm going to see if I have any more rotation in my neck. I'm just going to kind of look along the floor until I find a point where that feels like that's about as much as I want to turn my head. I'm going to gaze at that spot for a moment. So wherever that spot is, lift your eyes and then bring the eyes back to the center. Let the hands rest in the lap, shrug the shoulders a few times. I'm cross-legged and I'm a Pilates teacher also, so I'm going to uncross my legs and recross the other way. It's not totally essential. So now we're going to the left, fingertips on the floor, ear towards the left. I can tell that's my tighter side today. So I'm just going to kind of stay and breathe with it. Maybe a little bit of that feeling of opening the shoulder or widening the collarbone out. And then if I want more, fingertips reach, sneak off of the floor, hover, wide fingers, reaching as far as you can. Like there's something on the floor over there and you want it really bad, but you just can't quite reach it. And then we'll turn palm front, thumb up, and then turn palm down and thumb down. With this thumb down, you're in a little bit of internal rotation. If that hurts your shoulder, put your hand in your lap. Otherwise, tuck the hand behind the back. Let your eyes find your left thigh. If your body turned a little bit like this, bring the body back. Just look at the eyes. Or look at the thigh, sorry. And then see if you got any more. You can just kind of start slowly searching along the floor. You might get as far as your fingertips, you might not. From right there, you're going to lift the eyes to look forward where you're gazing, and then back, forward straight. Hands in the lap, shrug it out. All right, so we're gonna come back onto your back. Stretch the legs out long. Reach the arms overhead. And just kind of see how the arms feel right there. Mine feel okay, so I don't necessarily need anything. But if I did, I would take my blanket and put it kind of behind my arms, shoulders, so that they have something to kind of rest on. The other option, if your shoulders hurt there, is to bend the arms in, bringing them kind of bringing hands towards your head. So I've got arms overhead, bent or straight. I'm going to take both of my feet over to the right, and I'm going to side bend my body to the right as well. So I'm taking my upper body and my hands towards the right. So I'm basically making a banana shape, and this is called banana asana in Yin Yoga. So if you aren't quite sure what I'm talking about, I'm just basically doing a side bend, but I'm lying down. Some people like to cross the ankle over. To me, that's a little bit better stretch. But for some people, it's uncomfortable to their back, so whatever works for you. See if you can breathe just a little bit more deeply into the left side of your body, right? So we're going to just try to open up the rib cage a little bit more. Almost like you're opening one of those fans that open out, and then it's going to kind of come back part way in. Inhale's going to spread the fan out. Exhale's going to bring it back. Couple more of those deeper breaths if you're doing okay. All right, we're going to bring the feet back to the center, the head back to the center, and bring the arms down. I'm going to bend my knees, put my feet flat, and just hang there for a minute. Maybe a bridge if you feel like moving a little bit. Any other movement is fine. If you need to hug knees to chest, roll a little. Just a few breaths before we do the other side. Just kind of giving your body a break. And then legs will stretch back out long, arms will reach overhead. And again, use that blanket if you need to, or bend the elbows. Feet are going over towards the left, upper body towards the left. So I have put myself into a banana or crescent shape. It doesn't have to be really big. If you feel like you can't breathe, again, that's possibly a little too big. So back it up a little bit. Ankle can cross over here, or it can just rest beside the other foot, your choice. This could certainly be a time to take a break for this one. But if you're okay, staying here a bit longer, deepening your breath a little bit like we did on the other side. So really inhaling deeply into the right side and exhaling. So again, kind of thinking of that fan spreading and then partially closing. Rib cage, ribs spread apart. And then return. Last few breaths. Good, and just kind of bringing everything back to the center. Bend the knees, feet flat, arms come down. Move around a little bit if you need to. Bridge up, hug the knees in. Anything that you want to do. And again, there's no rush, but when you're ready, you're going to roll to your side and sit up. And you're going to grab that blanket, okay? You want it folded relatively neatly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want it just all wadded up either. So you're going to take the blanket, and I could do more thickness than this, but this is what I have, so I'm working with it. I'm just going to lay it that way. And then I'm going to be in front of it. So my butt's on the mat, and my torso's going to be on the blanket, and my head is going to be on the mat. You can do whatever you want with your legs. They can be bent. You could do Baddha Konasana here, knees together. You could do legs straight, whatever you want. I like bent. And I also like a goal post with my arms, but that's totally up to you. So it doesn't look like much. I got to scoot a little. But you're in just a very, very slight back bend / chest opening position. If you feel like you want a little more, you could add another blanket or another towel to this. You don't want to feel a lot of strain in the neck. So if you start adding, watch that you don't become too strained in the neck, but that you still feel mostly across the chest. If you're feeling really comfortable here, you can stay here a little longer. I want to make sure we get a little Savasana. So stay there if you want to, otherwise roll off the blanket. Put it to the side. I'm going to roll mine, put it under my knees like a bolster. Just lie down comfortably. So this is kind of what your classic Shavasana looks like, corpse pose. But lie in whatever is most comfortable to you. Some people want to be on their side. Some people like the arms closer in, further out. So just find where you feel the most comfortable and relaxed. And don't feel like you have to hold your body still, but just let it relax into stillness. Start to bring your awareness back to your body and your breath. And as you feel ready, you're going to start to wiggle the fingers and toes, maybe circle the ankles, wrists. Maybe just turn the head a little bit. So you feel ready to bend your knees. And then just roll onto your side again with bent knees. Give yourself a few breaths at least to transition, and also for you to just kind of enjoy the peacefulness. Stay there longer if you like. I'm running up on a time limit, so if you want to close with me, come on up. Otherwise, stay there as long as you like. You're at home. Just take any seat that's comfortable, and I hope this class helped you feel a little more relaxed and at ease and less anxious. And remember that even though we can't stay in that place all the time, it is always there and accessible to us. So you can get to it if you need to. And if you want to close with me, you can just let the hands rest in the lap, palms up. Take an inhale. And I usually visualize kind of cupping the hands, filling up 2 cups. And then exhale, bringing that in towards the heart. Stay well. Namaste.